Nice to see you.
I crossed the cold to come here. You can't shake my hand only. You give me another hug.
When you got off the plane and you saw the winter, what was that like for you?
Does that answer your question? I mean, how can you live in the cold like that? I love Canada.
It makes us tough.
I love Canadian, but wintertime, I love you from far.
As you should, as you should. This is...
But
it allows us to
I
be
make
together.
it all the way here.
Well, I'm honored to have you.
Okay.
So I mean, it's one thing to write a book, but when you're telling a story, your story is an actual, proper journey.
Yeah.
What's it like reliving that story?
Well, what triggered the journey is the death of my father in 2008, because my father, I was very close to my father, and you grow up and all you have taken for granted, you realize that he has actually been really progressive in your life, because he fought for all of us to go to school, boys and girls equally, even though the family was asking him to withdraw his girls from school to get them married. And my father was like, no, they're not merchandisers. They're human beings. They want to make a living. They want to live a life. It's their choice. And when he passed away, it's like something just... I grew up. I grew up in the pain because I did not expect him to die. And I start reliving all the memory, the good time. That's how we mourn in Africa. We celebrate the good time that we have with somebody and the person is still alive in our heart, even though physically the person is not here.
Even hearing your father say things like, marriage isn't jail. So when people were looking at your mother and asking him, why does he let his wife go and do stuff, your dad was so very progressive, even about women's rights issues at the time.
He always said that to us. He always said to the boys, my brothers, never raise a hand on a woman. If you raise a hand on a woman, don't come back here. Don't call me father anymore.
So that's going to have a huge impact on you growing up then, isn't it?
And I was determined if I don't find a man like that, I was not going to get married. I was not going to sit and let a man tell me what I got to do.
Right. But instead, you went on and had another challenge, if you think about it. When I was reading your book, that people who were on stage, if they were boys, they were called junkies, and if they were women, they were called prostitutes.
Absolutely.
And here this guy who's already a progressive father, his daughter's a singer, and away we go.
And they were calling me prostitute. I would come back home crying. And at 12 years old, I learned a lesson that is still something that I keep very close to and impact my life. I was walking back from school, and then suddenly, the first thing I feel on the back was a stone. Boom! And then the sand comes after, and the speed comes after, and this is the hall, and people was singing the hall behind me. And I was like, what did... And I look around, they say, yes, we're talking about you. And then I ran home and crying, sobbing. You know, I was in a state where I couldn't even speak. And my maternal grandmother was there visiting my mom. And then she grabbed me. She was scared at something. I was in an accident. And I said, okay, take a deep breath, talk to me. So I explained to her what just happened to me. And then she said to me, what you care about what people think about you? You have to learn one thing in life. You cannot love everybody and appreciate everybody, and it goes both ways. If you don't learn that now, you're gonna always be the fool of somebody. Live your life to the full. Everything you do, and as long as you don't hurt anybody, and you're happy doing what you do, let them talk.
The conversation has been so interesting about Africa over the last, because there's so many different countries and so many different issues, positive and some negative as well. How has it changed for you? Because you've traveled around the world now and been the representative of.
But the thing is, Africa is changing and people are not seeing the change.
Yeah.
And by the time they catch up, it's too late.
Where are the biggest changes?
The changes are in Tanzania, Botswana, Ghana. Many countries are just thriving. I mean, the money in Africa is ridiculous. But people are more concerned and more interested in the misery part of it. Because if we are miserable, it makes people feel better. Give them the sense of being better or superior, which for me is not about it. No. If Africa does wrong, does bad, the whole planet goes wrong. Because it's the richest continent on the planet. Without the resources of Africa, you won't even have France. Right. You won't have Belgium. You won't have Europe, period. You won't have America, because we built American economy. Our ancestors, my ancestors, Africans, your ancestors, built the wealth of the rich country today. Sure. But
and
nobody
wants out of your country
absolutely,
too, right?
And nobody want to talk about it because they say it has been a century ago. Huh? Aren't you benefiting from that century ago still today?
Well, you know, if you go back to any of the great movements, pushes for social change and for equality, certainly in the Western world, I know it's true in Africa, but we knew it through music.
Absolutely.
You know, and so do you feel you have a different opportunity because you have the power of song.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And at that power of song, I started using it when I was 8 years old. I didn't even know. Because my mom and her friends have a group of women asking for women to vote, for women to choose the partner of life. And women to be more completely free to do whatever they wanted to. And they would take me, and I'll be singing the song with them because they all say, oh, we sing like, you don't know. Bring your girl, she will save the day. So I'll be singing in front of her, and I'll be singing the women's song, and then, mi masanyo nulegia naome, and I was like, I'm blabbing it in, I'm like, oh, actually I was feminist before feminism started. I'm like, oh, I like this.
How has feminism changed in the last 10 years in Benin?
It's changing, it's not changing fast enough for me, because we still have a lot of domestic abuse. We still have child marriage, which is one of my biggest cause. And we still have female genital mutilation in some part in Benin. But in December 2011, we passed a resolution. For the first time, a resolution had been signed against female genital mutilation with a concert that we put together with the Italian mission at the UN, where I sang at the General Assembly. Because the Italian ambassador was saying that the African ambassador, they are so tired of white men lecturing them. Help us.
Did someone want to hear it from you?
Well, I say what I have to say. I told them, you can't sit here and tell me that you can make a change. My father was an African man. He fought against tradition that could harm his children. He put all of us to school. That's why I'm here before you today. If one man in Africa is able to achieve all that my father have achieved, none of you can sit in this chair and go back home and tell me you're proud of being a man when you can't stand up for nothing. That's it.
That's pretty great.
Huh?
Another artist who is very famous, but very underground as well. Look at this.
My records, for instance, have been banned
Africa?
since 1962. In South Africa, they don't sell them anymore. People who have them just have to play them privately and hope that nobody that shouldn't hear them hears them. And even though they are banned, but there are some people who still sing them somehow, somewhere.
Tell us who that is.
Ooh, it's Miriam. I mean, I've been lucky to have shared some time with Miriam. And
The Mama Africa is how many know her, right?
she's just an amazing person. And I've tried, before she passed away, to hold her back here. But she told me, since my child passed away, I'm a dead woman walking. The only thing that is keeping me alive is my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren.
Well, that's heavy to hear, right?
And she has lost everything in exile because her mom means the world to her. When her mom passed away, apartheid was still on and she couldn't go. And
that interview was in Sweden because she couldn't go home, right?
absolutely. And that's when we share so much together. When you decide to leave unwillingly your country, you give away so much. Things you give away, it's not even, you can't even start to explain it.
When you were leaving, you didn't know if you were going to come back because at our age,
I didn't know.
We never thought communism would ever fall.
No.
So
Yeah, I didn't know.
That time you were walking through, what were you thinking?
I was thinking that I was gonna become an adult, making decisions by myself, and praying hard that I would see my parents again. And that was my worry. My first year in France was a miserable one because I was homesick. And I would cry pretty much every day. I was making fun of. Every time I speak French, they say, oh, you can't speak French, we understand. We need encyclopedia, blah, blah, blah.
The French make fun of Quebecers for the same reason. So.
And they were like, you don't curse? What type of person are you? You don't curse? I never cursed in my life before I get to France. And when I get to it, that's it. We are gonna talk about that right now. No cursing here.
You can if you want. When we come back, I want to ask you about going back with Mandela.
You want me to curse?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I want you to do whatever makes you happy.
I ain't cursing.
More with Angelique Kidjo after this.
All right, coming up, what it felt like to visit Nelson Mandela's former jail cell with the man himself. Next.
If the Nobel Peace Prize.
Getting Oprah to sing?
Yeah, Mama, yeah. It was in New York at the
There you
Black
go.
Hole.
Back with Angelique Kidjo. You're getting Oprah to sing?
Oh, yeah, and she did good.
She did all right, right?
And, I mean, she just gave her purse to the bodyguard. Go, come on, I'm having fun right now. I'm like, go, girl.
Talk to me about Nelson Mandela before we go.
Oh, boy.
You went to Robben Island. You saw the cell.
Yep.
With Peter Gabriel.
Yep, I was there with him in 2003. And we were doing the first concert for his foundation, 4W664, which is his jail cell number. When we visited the Robben Island, I was so shocked and so shy because there are all of those big stars there, Beyonce, Peter Gabriel. I mean, I'm like, don't want to be involved in this thing. And they said, let's do photo op. Everybody, me, I was like that. He goes to me, come here, my girl. Come here. I'm like, why me? Grab me, put his hand around me, say, where are you from? I say, I'm from Benin. He said, you singing tonight? I say, yes. He said, you singing something good, up-tempo we can dance? Because I love to dance. I said, yeah, you can have that. He said, now I know the show's gonna be great. And he was just like, I'm like, so 3 years I did that show 3 times, and every time I saw him, he'd come around, and he'd be looking for me, and I said, oh, you here, so we're gonna have fun, the party can start now. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do that.
What did you think when you heard he'd passed?
I knew it before everybody,
yeah,
because I received the call right immediately, and I said to myself, nah, they all been saying that he's gonna die, he died, it's not true. I was in Paris, I went to bed at night. I woke up in the middle of the night, this is true? Let me wait for tomorrow morning, see if it's in the news break the next morning. I'm like, he really did this. He's really gone. And I didn't want to go to the funeral ceremony or none of that because I know he's a very humble and very private person. But I do went back 1 week after the funeral to do the show that I was supposed to do. And it was the first celebration concert after his funeral. And with Hugh Masekela, Ringo Marlingosi, a lot of South African artists. It was sad, but a lot of joy. And it's Mandela, that's all, that's it.
When it's warmer, please come back.
Oh, you get me more if it's warmer, man. Wintertime, that's the last time you're gonna do this to me, huh?
Spirit Rising, My Life, My Music. The record is Eve. It's out January 28th. What an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Angelique.
Now come back.
Thank you. Anytime.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.